I'm Julie Barkey with this Senate update. On Tuesday on the Senate floor, a non-controversial bill resulted in a compelling speech. The bill is to require reporting of untested rape kits. The speech was from Senator Carrie Rood, discussing why she believes DNA gathering is so vital to solving murder cases and how Senator Vicki Jensen's bill could be a good first step. Now here's a portion of Tuesday's floor session.
Senate File 1081 is a public safety bill setting up a reporting mechanism for identifying and counting untested sexual assault test kits in Minnesota. A sexual assault kit or rape kit is a medical kit that's used to collect evidence from the body and clothing of a victim of rape or sexual assault. These kits, when tested by crime labs, have proven vital to successful investigations and prosecutions of sexual assault crimes and for holding perpetrators accountable. New legislation at the federal level has brought some and shown light on a problem in regards to forensic compliance of untested sexual assault kits. Examples are the Debbie Smith Act and the Sexual Assault Forensic Evidence Registry Act. We can't be sure of the total number of untested kits nationwide, but most jurisdictions do not have a system in place for tracking and counting these kits. So what this bill does is it requires the state of Minnesota to take the very first step by having each forensic science division or laboratory that tests these kits, the sheriff departments, the chief of police, prepare and submit a written report to the superintendent that then can identify the number of untested rape kits in the possession of that agency or department, the date the evidence was collected, and then we've also asked them to indicate why it had not been tested. There are further efforts that need to happen once we do this. Situations like if they're getting the evidence at the hospital, where do we store it? How do we notify victims? So you could be asking yourself, why not take the next step and actually test these kits? Well, as a state, local jurisdictions have begun to process previously untested rape kits, and there have been questions about how do we engage the survivors whose cases haven't been looked at for years, sometimes they're decades old. So until we figure out a way that's compassionate, effective, and empowering and transparent to let these survivors of these crimes be notified, we need a little bit of time to figure out how we're going to do that as a state. So without the voice of those survivors, it would be impossible to create what I think we need is a truly survivor-centered notification procedure. We have to get this right. This is the first step. We need to establish and research best practices, but we need to find out what is the scope of our problem in Minnesota. This bill will do that. It's a critical starting point. It will identify and let us know if we have test kits that are sitting there that have not been tested and why they haven't been tested. And if we find out that we don't have a lot of inventory, it would be best practices for other states to realize that the practices that we are currently using could be a model for other states. So I'm asking for your support on this bill. It's a critical safety measure that's easy to do, that we should be able to do. Please support this bill.
Is there any discussion? Senator Rood.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in support of this bill, and I commend Senator Jensen for bringing this forward. Many of you know that I'm working on Senate File 880, which is the DNA Saves bill. And when we were working with Katie's mom, Jan Sepich, and Drew's mom, Linda Walker, one of the important pieces to that is this bill. This is the first step. We know that DNA databases solve cold cases. And so this being the first step in progress towards that, I ask you to support this bill. And I also ask you to think of going forward how we can support the DNA Saves bill, because this is one piece of that puzzle into protecting our young women. We are seeing today on campuses all over that there's sexual assault, and that DNA Saves can help that. We can take these people before these assaults happen. So I ask you for the support on this bill, but also to think in the future to support the DNA Saves bill also. Thank you.